Edna mode.
I don't know, darling.
Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Transformers action figure video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Decepticon H.I.S.S tank Megatron, the G.I. Joe crossover. So anyway, let's just get right on into it by taking a look at the accessories, and then we'll start with the Baroness, and then we'll go to Megatron. The packaging here looks really good. I like the mix of both G1 packaging and the retro G.I. Joe artwork and packaging such. Looks pretty good. It says G.I. Joe, Transformers, same stuff on the top, on the bottom. Nothing much here on the sides, just some more product shots. Here on the back of the packaging, got some obligatory product shots. Now, this isn't the actual box. These are actually slip covers. What you want to do here is you want to slide open this section and... yeah, that was very underwhelming, I know. Here at the top it says G.I. Joe, Transformers, same thing here, and then on the back it's got some like top secret files right there. You can go ahead and pause and read that. And then it just kind of, folds open like a Generation Selects box does. And there you go, and why am I talking about a brown cardboard box on a YouTube channel? What has my life become? Reflecting on life decisions aside, the figure does also come with a pack-in, like the Baroness specifically, she comes in her own retro carded packaging. So hey, if you already have a Baroness figure and you don't want to, take one out of the packaging, or you have one that's out of the box and you want one mint in the box, well hey, you got the option of having a carded retro version of the Baroness right here. Now again, I've never owned an original Baroness figure, so I have no idea what the accessories are that she included, but she does come with a little backpack here with the Cobra logo. That just simply plugs in on her back, quite obviously. I mean, that's what backpacks do. And then she also comes with a gun. It doesn't really store anywhere, but this gun can plug into her hand. I mean, where else were you going to store the gun? It's a very loose fit.
Bullshit.
And then, of course, you get this little kind of leathery-looking stand with a peg, and that allows you to stand the figure up by plugging it into the stand, and there you go. And then here we get Edna mode, I mean the Baroness. And, yeah, she definitely doesn't look, as pretty as what was interpreted on her box, but this is a retro reissue, you can't blame it too much, but overall the figure's honestly quite plain. Like, it's really just a black body type. But again, it is kind of plain, so it is just a black body with mechanical detailing, and the only bits of color is in the face and the Cobra logo right there. And yeah, honestly, there's nothing much going on. Her branding is on her ass. And yeah, honestly, posability isn't that great either. The hair on the head sculpt limits like almost no posability in the head. Shoulders rotate a full 360. They can move in and out. She does get a swivel at the elbow, bend at the elbow. And then there's this diaphragm joint, which is using an old rubber band. That's how you know this is a like fully detailed reissue, because all the old figures did have that. So that allows for waist swiveling, arching back, crunch, diaphragm pivot, swiveling, all that kind of stuff. Hips can kick forward. They can't really kick back. They can shift around because they're attached to that rubber band part. And then, they can move outward and all this posability, and then just a bend at the knee, and that is it. So honestly, quite posable in some areas and quite stiff in others. But again, it's an old reissue. You can't really, blame it too much. And then Megatron just comes with two accessories. He comes with a fusion cannon, which is honestly kind of subpar. I mean, look how hollow it is. So this isn't really my favorite fusion cannon, but I guess it gets the job done. And then Megatron also comes with a shield, also known as parts forming.
Bullshit.
And yeah, overall, I don't think the design here looks too bad. I mean, it definitely looks like Megatron with some extra, like bits of armor and everything, which does look really neat. I mean, those promotional images definitely made him look really good. I mean, it's got his classic bucket head sculpt. It's got his Decepticon logo. He's got his belly buttons, and he's got these new added like little missile launchers right here. He's also got his fusion cannon, which is on his wrist for some reason. And overall, this thing does look very appealing. I am not happy with this at all. The figure looked so good in those promotional images. Why does it look like a piece of shiz in person?
Allow me to destroy your gallery.
All of this kibble and everything literally is a separate piece that you have to attach on out of the box.
Bullshit.
Holy crap, this guy is so hollow. Someone get this Megatron a sandwich. Now, I do have some other legitimate complaints on this figure. Like, I do like these bits of red and everything, but I feel like there still could have been a lot more color throughout the figure and more paint, but I feel like a lot of those criticisms, something like that, are really minuscule when compared to, you know...
Bullshit.
I mean, I can't diss on the figure too much. I mean, at least it's got the playability of, you know, putting Edna mode inside the gun turret. Yippee! You know, and also the feature, how the shoulders don't want to stay plugged in. And the posability on this guy isn't all that great either. I mean, you get rotation here at the gun turret. The gun turret guns can shift up and down. He's got a ball joint at the head, which allows for swiveling, looking up and down. Shoulder moves out, shoulder moves out. Get a swivel, bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist. Nothing at the waist. The hip skirt moves out, and they're on ball joints, so they can move all over the place. This guy's legs can move back and forward. He does get a thigh swivel, tight bend at the knee, and then the ankle can tilt in, and this ankle spur can move. Yeah, the articulation's not that great either. I mean, at least he can do a fusion cannon pose. I mean, that's kind of the bare minimum for a Megatron figure. Just, you know, waist swivel would have been nice. I do have to admit, though, part of this guy's fun factor is the absolute sheer size of him. I did not realize how big this guy was until he showed up. Here he is next to the last Transformers crossover figure I reviewed, the Transformers Draculus. Here's the Megatron compared next to the Siege Commander class Jetfire. Again, I'm trying to emphasize the Megatron's size here. And then here's the Megatron compared next to the best Optimus I could find to scale with him, the Power of the Prime's leader, Optimus Prime. And also I have the Baroness down there by his leg this time because I wanted to also show you how small she is compared next to Megatron. I think because, you know, they really wanted to have the actual, like, Transformer to human scale accuracy as well. You know, just like the original 80s toy. So that really shows you why it's so big. And speaking of his vehicle mode, let's get into Megatron's transformation. By the way, a couple of things I wanted to highlight from the transformation. Technically, you are supposed to put Megatron's fusion cannon right there on the turret, but screw that. And overall, the vehicle transformed up pretty well.
Get Megatron!
That's a bit of an issue. But, thankfully, Hasbro was so nice of them to include this little cover piece. And you can go in and you can cover up that Megatron smug face. And there you go. Now it's all good. Thanks a lot, freaking Hasbro. $90. And overall, this vehicle mode is actually kind of cool. Here's the thing, though. I have no idea what this thing is. I know it's called a H.I.S.S tank, but like, I literally know zero context about this vehicle. I didn't grow up on the original G.I. Joe toy of the H.I.S.S tank. I never really watched too many of the G.I. Joe cartoons. I mostly have just read a couple of the comics, and that's where most of my interest for G.I. Joe comes from. But I don't really know much about this H.I.S.S tank, and yet this is my favorite part of the entire figure. The H.I.S.S tank is an absolute blast to handle. I love the thing. I love the treads. I love all the detail, these little decals. The Cobra insignia is nice and menacing. It's even here on the back as well, which, by the way, this little shield piece does provide little pegs so that some of your other G.I. Joe Transformers figures can also go in and peg onto the back of the vehicle. And that looks pretty cool as well. And then also, again, nice decals here at the front. I love the cockpit. There's a little notch here that helps you open up the window. And there is something of a semblance of an interior in there. And again, because it's accurate to the toy, Edna Mode / Danny DeVito.
Ongo Goblogian, the art collector.
You can fit there right into the cockpit, and you can see her clearly through there pretty well. And then again, these little turret things can move. This thing still shifts. You can fit a whole figure in there, just like on the toy. And honestly, there's nothing much else to say other than that I really like the H.I.S.S tank. It is my favorite part of the whole figure. And I can see why Hasbro compromised the robot mode for the sake of the H.I.S.S tank here, because the H.I.S.S tank is absolutely phenomenal, and the robot mode is pretty... Wait, I have to do vehicle comparisons? Here's the H.I.S.S tank Megatron compared next to the Siege Commander class Jetfire. Here he is with Optimus. I really don't want to transform him. And then here he is with the, you know, the Count Draculus, and I'm too lazy to put these in order. I don't give a crap. And yeah, that's it for the H.I.S.S tank Megatron. Straight up, this thing is not worth it. It is not worth $90. Just straight up saying that. If you are a G.I. Joe fan, and only a G.I. Joe fan, I don't think you're gonna find this that worth it unless you like are really desperate for an original H.I.S.S tank in some way without having to pay like some really big, some shiny penny on eBay. Or if you're a Transformers fan and you're not into G.I. Joe, this is not for you. Like if you're just one or the other, G.I. Joe or Transformers, and not both, don't get this figure. If you are into both, then yeah, for sure get this figure. Unless you're some kind of Transformers or G.I. Joe completionist where you have to have every bit of merchandise, then sure, yeah, but it's up to you to determine if the $90 is worth it. That's the main point of this figure, is it does not feel like the engineering of it is worth $90. I still love the vehicle mode, I will stand by that. But the robot mode and the transformation, it's just absolutely horrendous. Basically, the actual gimmick of the whole toy is not good, and the original toy that it's based on is good, because it's based on an old toy. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So anyway, honestly, if I'm going to give this figure a rating, I give it a very solid 5 out of 10. Again, a 50-50 split. And then the Baroness, I'm not really counting her, because, I mean, it's just a figure that's already existed for, like, a couple decades. So I'm not going to give a rating to that thing, but... Anyway, that is it for this review. So, if you guys liked this video, or disliked this video, trust me, I won't judge. Be sure to give me a comment down below what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel for more stuff, I guess, if you enjoy this kind of garbage. And, yeah, thank y'all for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it, because I know this is kind of like torture. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully.